So yesterday, Pokemon revealed a brand new Pokemon for Scarlet and Violet at literally 3 a.m. my time, which was kinda ridiculous, but today they ended up revealing the official trailer for it. And this Pokemon is an interesting one because it is none other than Wiglett. Wiglett is a Pokemon that looks a lot like Diglett, obviously. Its name sounds like Diglett's name, but it is not Diglett whatsoever. In fact, it's not even a regional variant of Diglett, which we know exists in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. This is just its own Pokemon, and that's obviously very interesting. But the thing about it is that Wiglett is possibly gonna be a much bigger deal than you might think it appears like on the surface. And in this video, I just wanted to go over this really quick and explain why Wiglett might be the start of something really big for Pokemon. So as mentioned, Wiglett is not related to Diglett at all. While Diglett is more of a mole Pokemon, it is said that Wiglett is known as the garden eel Pokemon, and it is a pure water type, contrasting Diglett's pure ground typing, and it seems to also have a much longer body than Diglett does as well. You might be thinking that it's strange that this Pokemon is so much like Diglett when regional variants are a thing that exist and it's still not classified as a regional variant, but it seems like there is a specific reason for that, and it appears as if that reason is because Wiglett is inspired by the concept of Convergent Evolution. Convergent evolution is a thing that happens with animals and plants in real life where two completely unrelated species develop similar features and similar traits due to similar circumstances in their environment, but they themselves are completely unrelated and often do very different sorts of things, such as with Diglett being a ground type and Wiglett being a water type. And this idea of convergent evolution being introduced into Pokemon with Wiglett is why Wiglett is such a big deal, because it could potentially open the door for a bunch of other convergent evolution Pokemon to start popping up and allowing the Pokemon Company to start revisiting different Pokemon in even more different, unique, and exciting ways. It has not been specified anywhere so far that Wiglett is some kind of official form of Pokemon that is a quote-unquote convergent Pokemon, so it's not really identified as part of a group in the same way that regional variants are. At least not yet, and while I don't know if that is ever going to happen at all, I would personally suspect that now that they've sort of dipped their toe in the water with this sort of thing, that Wiglett is not going to be the only Pokemon that they ever do with this. In fact, I could honestly, and once again, this is still just my own speculation at this point, but I could honestly see this becoming its own new form or group of Pokemon, and basically acting as sort of a counterpart to regional variants, because while regional variants are based on the concept of divergent evolution, these Pokemon could be the opposite and be based on convergent evolution. And while those two concepts are very similar in nature, hence why Wiglett looks like just a regional variant of Diglett, it also allows for a lot of differences too, because once again, these Pokemon are not related and their visual appearance is just a coincidence. What this would allow for is for us to be able to revisit old Pokemon in new ways with all of the same fun stuff that we've come to know and love with regional variants, like new appearances and new typings, but now that the Pokemon isn't related to that base form and its visual appearance is just a coincidence, it allows the new convergent Pokemon to divert even more in appearance from the Pokemon that it's based on and allows it to be even more different in design, which is why we see Wiglett having such a longer body compared to Diglett, which it probably wouldn't have in a regular regional variant form. And I can only imagine what that would mean for Wiglet's evolution in comparison to Dugtrio if it ends up getting one. It's probably going to be crazy and way different, while also still having some of that visual similarity to Dugtrio, which I think is going to be a ton of fun to see. So while some might see Wiglett as just a derpy noodle, or maybe even a lazy entry into the Pokedex as just a copy of Diglett, I assure you it could at least potentially be much, much more than that. And like I said, I don't expect this to just be a Diglett exclusive thing necessarily, so I more or less expect to see some more convergent Pokemon be introduced, and I think it would be really cool if they were sort of identified as their own particular group of Pokemon, like regional variants, and sort of the opposite counterpart to regional variants, where we can have classic Pokemon be revisited in even more unique and different ways, to where even more stuff can be done with them. This would also just make a lot of sense for Pokemon to do too, because while regional variants are super popular, and they're obviously still a thing in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, we do know that Game Freak doesn't like to sit on one feature for too long, or keep it the way it is for too long. They like to switch things up, and this might be a response to that and to regional variants having been around for a while, to where they're now kind of shaking up that formula a little bit and approaching it from a different angle. So all in all, there is a lot to be excited about with Wiglett. But what do you guys think about this new Pokemon? Are you a fan? Are you not? Let me know down in the comments below, and be sure to leave the video a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you're new for more. If you also are interested in winning a free copy of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, be sure to check out my Spotify, because if we get enough new listeners there by the time the games come out, I am going to be giving away a copy of the games, and there's no limit to how many copies I'll give away. So check that out with the link below, or just simply by looking me up on Spotify, because it's a great help, it's greatly appreciated, and you could potentially even win a free game just for doing so. With that said, I will be back very soon with another video, so until then, as always, thank you guys so much for watching this one. I really appreciate it, and I will smell you guys later.